Bienvenue au Centre des Nations Unies pour les droits de l'homme et la démocratie en Afrique centrale. Welcome to the United Nations Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Central Africa. Bienvenido al Centro de las Naciones Unidas para los Derechos Humanos y la Democracia en África Central. Bem-vindo ao Centro das Nações Unidas para os Direitos Humanos e Democracia na África Central.
The United Nations Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Central Africa was created at the initiative of member states of the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, by United Nations General Assembly resolutions. The center is located in Yaoundé, Cameroon, and commenced its activities in 2001.
The United Nations Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Central Africa functions as the regional office for Central Africa of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. We primarily focus on building the human rights development capacity of governments, of sub-regional organizations, national human rights institutions, parliaments, human rights defenders, civil society organizations, and the media, as well as United Nations country teams operating in a sub-region. And in view of our unique dual mandate of human rights and democracy, we also consolidate democratic processes such as elections to enhance accountability. Geographically and strategically, we cover 11 countries of the sub-region. That is to say Angola, Burundi, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Rwanda, and Sao Tome and Principe.
The center has developed a 4-year sub-regional strategy with 5 key thematic priorities in order to fulfill its mandate in the sub-region.
Ces priorités portent sur les 5 domaines suivants. La lutte contre l'impunité en se focalisant sur le renforcement des capacités du personnel de la police, de la justice et de l'administration pénitentiaire. La promotion et la protection des droits économiques, sociaux et culturels, y compris la budgétisation sensible aux droits de l'homme, et le plaidoyer sur l'exploitation des ressources naturelles et leur impact sur la réalisation des droits économiques, sociaux et culturels. La consolidation de la démocratie et de la bonne gouvernance en se focalisant sur les élections et les droits de l'homme. La lutte pour éliminer la discrimination, y compris à l'égard des femmes, des personnes vivant avec un handicap, des peuples autochtones, des travailleurs migrants et des membres de leur famille, des personnes victimes de la traite des êtres humains et aussi des autres groupes marginalisés et vulnérables. Le renforcement des systèmes nationaux de protection des droits de l'homme, notamment les institutions nationales des droits de l'homme, et la facilitation de la coopération avec les mécanismes internationaux et régionaux relatifs aux droits de l'homme, y compris les organes des traités, les procédures spéciales et le processus de l'examen périodique universel du Conseil des droits de l'homme. Le Centre a enregistré des progrès significatifs en encourageant les États à s'engager avec les mécanismes internationaux et régionaux relatifs aux droits de l'homme. Et présentement, le Centre soutient les efforts des gouvernements du Cameroun, de la République du Congo, de la Guinée équatoriale et de Sao Tome et Principe dans le suivi de la mise en œuvre des recommandations du Conseil des droits de l'homme suite à leur examen dans le cadre du processus de l'examen périodique universel entre 2009 et 2010.
The center collaborates with regional and sub-regional partners including the African Union Commission, the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, the Executive Secretariat of the International Conference of the Great Lakes Region, the Economic and Monetary Community of Central Africa, CEMAC, and the newly established United Nations Office for Central Africa in Gabon.
We have been receiving technical assistance. If I emphasize only cooperation, it will be seen as if it appears as if these are two equal entities that came together and they were cooperating. It must be understood that the UN Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Central Africa is playing its vital role in promoting the creation and the growth and the proper functioning of national human rights institutions in the Central African region. And that it has done quite a lot to bring us up to a level where we could be one of the models and try to pull the rest of the institutions of the other countries within the Central African sub-region along with us.
Site Savers is one of the partner organizations with whom the center works on the fight against discrimination of persons with disabilities and on promoting their free and informed participation in electoral processes.
We started discussing this initiative. To be quite honest, Site Savers was just having this sort of idea, and this is thanks to support of the center that we got into the electoral process through ELECAM. So the center actually brokered some influence for us. The center leveraged some influence, and for us, the center helped us to get in touch with the ELECAM, with the UN organizations, and in the end, the process became a very big initiative, very big process where we now have a network of organizations that are working towards the advocacy for the inclusion of disabled people in the electoral process. We have achieved quite some impact together in base with ELECAM. I could just cite a number of things that have happened at ELECAM. One is the featuring of disabled people in posters, the brailing of some brochures at ELECAM, the instructions given to people, ELECAM's constituency, regional constituencies, to disaggregate the data by disability that is available, and more recently, in the inclusion of disability in the decision of the Director General of Elections, that is describing how or prescribing how the electoral process should take place.
The center offers services to its beneficiaries in the sub-region.
Le Centre des Nations Unies pour les droits de l'homme et la démocratie en Afrique centrale se félicite d'abriter à son sein une unité de documentation qui compte plus de 4000 ouvrages et un taux annuel d'adhésion de près de 1200 défenseurs des droits de l'homme, étudiants, ONG, fonctionnaires publics, professionnels des médias qui fréquentent régulièrement le centre. Donc, vous êtes invité à vous renseigner davantage sur les droits de l'homme et la démocratie, ainsi que sur les activités du centre à travers notre site internet, nos publications, notamment la lettre d'information électronique et bimensuelle Right and Democracy Focus, nos fiches d'information thématiques, nos autres publications relatives aux stratégies du centre. Contactez-nous à caro@ohchr.org. Les professionnels de médias comptent parmi nos principaux partenaires dans la dissémination de messages de droits de l'homme. Nous entretenons des partenariats dynamiques et des contacts réguliers avec les professionnels de médias, femmes et hommes à travers les pays d'Afrique centrale. Une autre composante importante et singulière dans les activités du centre est notre contribution au renforcement des capacités des jeunes professionnels et étudiants d'Afrique centrale à travers notre programme de bourse.
Kizita Fogwe and Christian Fritz Ntopa benefited from the center's fellowship program.
Working as a fellow at the UN Center for Human Rights and Democracy exposes you to human rights and democracy issues in the Central African region in particular and at the world at large. It also gives you the opportunity to master documentation and communication skills. The fellowship program at the UN Center for Human Rights and Democracy serves as an excellent window into the international working environment. Some of us are clear examples of this professional orientation.
Je suis boursier au centre depuis 3 mois. Mes tâches consistent pour l'essentiel en l'organisation d'activités de promotion de la démocratie et de la bonne gouvernance dans les pays de la sous-région. Le programme de bourse est une opportunité idéale pour moi, dans la mesure où il me permet de renforcer mes connaissances en matière de droits de l'homme, de démocratie, de documentation, mais également de manière transversale sur les questions de genre et de droits humains des femmes. Il me permet également d'acquérir des compétences professionnelles de qualité dans un environnement multiculturel. Dans l'accomplissement de mes tâches, je bénéficie de l'encadrement de mes superviseurs et de l'ensemble des collègues du bureau, dont l'esprit de générosité, de tolérance et surtout de rigueur fait de ce séjour au sein de cette structure des droits de l'homme une expérience enrichissante.
À ce jour, près de 200 jeunes professionnels et étudiants originaires des États d'Afrique centrale ont pu bénéficier du programme de bourse du centre de Yaoundé pour une période de 2 à 6 mois. Au terme de leur programme de bourse, ils occupent dans leurs pays respectifs des postes stratégiques ainsi qu'au sein de certaines agences du système des Nations Unies.
Increasingly, the center is recognized as an important player in addressing sub-regional challenges in the areas of human rights and democracy.
In some countries of the sub-region, democracy and the rule of law are challenged by problems like weak administration, unaccountable administration also, lack of accountability, and corrupt practices, as well as inadequate resources and staffing for institutions that are in charge of ensuring that such challenges are addressed. As far as discrimination is concerned, it still poses very serious challenges since discrimination based on gender, ethnicity, political affiliation, or sexual orientation, for example, still remain of very great concern. The sub-regional level, there are 2 issues that are worth mentioning here. I think it's the trafficking in person and protecting the right of migrant workers. At the sub-regional level, there is lack of coordinated action and policies to address such issues. Overall, national legal frameworks and institutions remain weak in the sub-region, with only few national human rights institutions complying with the Paris principles that are authoritative in the area of national human rights institutions. The civil society organizations have a crucial role to play. Unfortunately, civil society appear very fragmented and uncoordinated at the sub-regional level. As a result, human rights defenders and journalists continue to face threats almost on a daily basis.
The start of a new decade not only provides new challenges for the center, but also glaring opportunities to record progress in human rights promotion and protection and democracy enhancement.
Today, as we look back at 10 years at the service of Central Africa, we will commit to continuing to addressing human rights gap in the sub-region, including by empowering frontline protection actors, such as NGOs, civil society actors, human rights defenders, both women and men, and national human rights institutions. We will continue to strengthen and develop national human rights law and policies together with our partners so that we can reinforce legal protection for human rights in the sub-region and at national level. We're going to forge ahead and build on our efforts to advocate for the ratification of international and African regional human rights instruments so that we can advocate for better protection of those most vulnerable. We're also going to welcome young professionals from Central Africa in our fellowship program, and we will try to make our documentation center accessible and available to even more readers. We're going to bring our work closer to you through our electronic communication tools and also our outreach campaigns. Today, on our 10th anniversary, we are committed to continuing to work with you, our partners, to bring about social, institutional and legislative change and to contribute to a better realization of human rights for all without discrimination in Central Africa. As they say in Cameroon, nous sommes ensemble, we're together.